5 eccentric niches you can make money in. What is up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of Index Card Insights. This is episode 43. We're counting down to episode 1, and I'm so happy to be hanging out here with you guys today. I hope you're doing well. Hope your day is going amazing. We're going to be talking about 5 eccentric niches. Just 5 weird niches. There's a lot of weird niches out there that you can make money on, right? It goes way beyond like the typical health, wealth, and love, right? There's a lot of just like fringe niches, as I like to call them, eccentric niches, you can call them, however you want to put it. There's a lot of like kind of strange ways to make money out there. I'm going to talk about 5 of them today. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. With that being said, no reason to beat around the bush. Before I get into this, though, let me say this. You're going to be hearing me refer to something called CAGR or CAGR. It's the compound annual growth rate is what I'm talking about there. When I say CAGR, it's compound annual growth rate. Okay. It's basically the annualized average rate of revenue growth between 2 given years, assuming growth takes place at an exponentially compounded rate. Essentially, what that means is like if you see something growing right now, then you expect to see it continue to grow at the same rate, essentially. That's basically what it is. That's CAGR, that's CAGR, however you want to say it, compound annual growth rate. Okay, just keep that in mind. So, that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. The first one I want to talk about is beard care products. Okay. Now, beard care products valued $21.87 billion in 2022 is expected to reach $38 billion by 2030. It's got a CAGR of 7.20% during the forecast period of 2023 to 2030. So it's going to continue to climb by 7.20%, essentially. Like the rise of beard culture has led to a niche market for specialized beard care products, such as oils, balms, and grooming tools, catering to individuals seeking to maintain and style their facial hair. Now, you might laugh or you might think, yeah, that makes total sense. But the fact of the matter is, beard care products, it's one of those kind of eccentric niches, one of those fringe niches that you wouldn't think about too much, but there's money to be made there, right? Now, not just in the beard care products themselves, but also in information products as well, right? So there's actually a lot of ways you can make money in these fringe niches. It's not just selling the products themselves, but also it can be selling information surrounding these products. It can be selling templated information products around these products. It could be a lot of things like, like again, me personally, I run a publishing company, so I lean heavy into the information side of things. I think about what about templates? What about utilitarian information style products? That's kind of how I lean when I think about these fringe niches. But of course, you can sell the products themselves as well. Anyways, beard care products projected growth is 7 point something percent. Pretty cool over the next 7 years or so. What's the next one? Okay, so this is a blast from the past. Adult coloring books. All right. Now, adult coloring books kind of peaked in 2015, and I remember in 2016 there was a lot of people talking about adult coloring books. But what you got to understand is, even though like adult coloring books just blew up in 2000, at the end of 2015, the beginning of 2016, adult coloring books kind of blew up. But what you have to understand is, even though a lot of that hype has died down, there's still a dedicated customer base for adult coloring books. It's still pretty solid. It's not like declining, it's not contracting. It's a very solid market. It's still a very solid market. It just doesn't have the hype behind it that it had in 2016, but it's still a very solid market. Now, if you can get in there and you can find like little kind of like grains of interest, right? Like steampunk or beehives or whatever. Mandalas. I know that was really popular back in 2016 when it came to the adult coloring books. But if you can find that kind of like, kind of like specialty area of adult coloring books, I think this could be a nice little moneymaker for you. Again, all you have to do is go check out Google Trends. You can see this is still a very solid niche. The beautiful thing about adult coloring books is that everyone thinks this is over. Okay. It's just like something like Tumblr. Everybody thinks it's over, but it's not over. It still has a huge market of people hanging out there, buying the coloring books, still making money. It's just like the hype is gone, but there's still a dedicated customer base waiting to buy stuff from you. So, anyways, that's my second one, adult coloring books. My third one, retro video game collecting. This is back with a vengeance, okay? Retro video game collecting. Look, global gaming market size was valued at $249 billion in 2022. It's anticipated to grow from $281 billion in 2023 here to $665 billion by 2030, right? That's a huge amount of growth in just like 7 years. Enthusiasts and collectors who are passionate about retro video games, consoles, have created a thriving market for vintage gaming items, often trading rare titles and nostalgic gear. You see this all over YouTube, okay? Nostalgia's big, and it's really big in the video game market. It's funny, man, because you want to buy like a Super Nintendo, you want to buy some Super Nintendo games. Used to be you could get those at garage sales for a couple bucks. Now, because of this vintage gaming craze, these things are going for a lot of money. You can still probably find them pretty cheap at garage sales, but the value on these old consoles and these old video games are just like through the roof right now. And I don't see that going away anytime soon. Nostalgia's not really a fad. Nostalgia is something that is tried and true. It's always going to be a thing. A lot of people are nostalgic. It's not going to go anywhere. So the whole, old video game thing, I don't see that getting any less popular. It's going to continue to be a growing trend. So it's a good market to get into, and you got to kind of wonder what you can do with this kind of niche. There's a lot of things. Again, like me personally, I always lean towards info products. So I lean towards something like, a discovery guide, ways to discover old video game consoles, ways to discover old video game cartridges, whatever. I lean towards that direction, but there's a lot of way to get into a small fringe niche like this and make money, right? All you have to do is get on YouTube and look at all the people talking about vintage gaming, retro gaming, and look at how many views those videos have. When you see that, you can see right there's a lot of attention surrounding this. And whenever there's attention surrounding something, there's money to be made. You just got to figure out how to get that money, right? So what else? The fourth one I could tell you about is this: the tiny house enthusiasts, okay? Tiny house enthusiasts. The global tiny housing market size was valued at $17 billion in 2022. It's expected to surpass $32 billion by 2031. That's double, basically. The tiny house movement has given rise to a niche market for compact living solutions, including plans, designs, construction materials tailored to those seeking a minimalist lifestyle. So you can see in that little description that there's all kinds of room for profit, including info products, right? I think the tiny house enthusiast kind of market right now is interesting. It's not something that I saw coming. It's just something that's cropped up over the last few years. And, you can see it in the television shows. You can see it in the attention on YouTube. You can see it with the attention of the culture, kind of moving in a more minimalistic direction. It's very interesting, and it's a neat niche. I think that there's a lot of money to be made. It's not necessarily one that interests me. I don't really care about small house living. I never really recommend people jump into niches they don't care about or they don't have an interest in. Not that you can't make money and stuff like that. It's just, I'm trying to live my best life, and to do that, I need to just like deal with things I want to deal with. That's kind of how I look at it. But I do think there's a lot of money to be made in there. And over the course of the next 7 or 8 years, that's just going to grow as far as like attention, right? Attention on that particular subject. That means info products. That means, printable blueprints. That means do it yourself guides. That means actual, tiny house solutions. There's a lot of room there in a niche like that. So it is very interesting. My wife loves the tiny house movement. She's really into it. My son, he's really into it as well. So there's people in my family, people I know who really love this movement. I particularly am not a big fan of it, but I know a lot of people who are fans of it. So, again, it's a great opportunity, really nice fringe niche, and there's an opportunity to profit in this. So, what else can I give you guys? Okay, I got one more for you today. But before I give you my last one, I want you to know that I actually didn't just do 5, guys. I actually did 27 fringe niches. All right, 27 of them. And if you want to get the rest of that, what you need to do is you need to get over to epicconversions.com and you need to join my ECIC group calls club. Okay, because in that club tonight, we're going to do a group call tonight. I do a group call with my ECIC group calls club. I do a group call every single week with those guys, and we discuss a topic every single week. Tonight, we're going to be discussing fringe topics, right? It's called Beyond the Mainstream. That's the topic tonight. We're going to be talking about 22 more niches, the ones I just gave you guys, plus 22 more. And we're going to be talking about how to find your own fringe eccentric niches. And we're going to be talking about how to profit from them. I go deeper into this stuff in that club. So you want to get over to epicconversions.com, check it out. ECIC group calls for the win. Now I got one more for you. Number 5. You never would have guessed this one. Urban farming supplies. Okay, urban farming supplies. That's the 5th one. People who live in cities who want to do some kind of a garden, they want to do some kind of like, urban farming. I live in a city and we just started our first garden this year. So I'm very interested in urban farming supplies myself, ways to grow, crops and vegetables and stuff in small spaces. Really interested in it. I'm fascinated by it. I think it's awesome. And I think this is a great opportunity. When it comes to urban farming supplies, the global urban farming supply market size was valued at $1.39 billion in 2022. It's expected to expand at a CAGR of 7.88% during the forecast period, reaching over 2.19 billion by 2028. Okay, so interest in sustainable living and urban gardening grows, right? Niche markets for hydroponic systems, indoor plant lights, and specialized gardening tools have emerged to cater to urban farmers, right? That's urban farming supplies. This one kind of took me by surprise, to be honest. I didn't know everyone else was so interested in this stuff, but it kind of makes total sense to me. I think it's really cool. I think people are becoming more and more interested in sustainability, and people are starting to become more and more interested in growing their own food. I think that's awesome. I'm glad to see it coming back. And this is a great opportunity over the next 7 or 8 years for anyone who wants to get into a niche outside of health, wealth, or relationships, right? So anyways, that's 5 of them, guys. I hope this has been helpful to you. Hope you've enjoyed this live stream. Be sure to get over to epicconversions.com. Pick up your free copy of 12 Secrets. That's my new artificial intelligence report. It's got 12 secrets about AI. You're going to love it. It comes with a giveaway license. And also, be sure to think about joining ECIC group calls. That's my mentorship club. We meet every single week. You're going to love it. We're going to get deep and hot and heavy into the woods with fringe niches tonight inside of ECIC group calls. So check it out. You can find all that stuff at epicconversions.com. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, you guys. And I'll see you on the next episode of Index Card Insights. Peace.